Главное событие вечера. 10-раундовый бой за титул IBA Pro Intercontinental в первом среднем весе. Добро пожаловать в черный угол. Претендент на чемпионский пояс из Австралии. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the black corner, the challenger from Australia. По прозвищу Hot Chili, Виктор Nagbe.
What an opportunity for Victor Nagbe, a man from Melbourne in Australia, here as the challenger for an intercontinental title against the accomplished world-rated Pavel SOSULIN. He's been in a brilliant mood in the build-up ahead of this contest. He brings to the ring a 14-fight professional record. 12 wins, 6 of them coming inside the distance, and just 2 defeats, but he is coming in off a loss, fighting for a couple of WBC regional titles in Thailand. It was in December of last year, but the man nicknamed Hot Chili confidently into the boxing ring. He has been confident all week that he has the skill set to inflict the first defeat. Perfect ledger of Pavel SOSULIN.
Дамы и господа, добро пожаловать в золотой угол ринга. Обладатель чемпионского пояса из России. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the gold corner, the champion from Russia, Pavel Max SOSULIN. Видите, дайте шума! Welcome to the gold corner.
Well, Pavel SOSULIN, who resides right here in St. Petersburg, again, he brings that comfort blanket of the Russian doll, adorned in IBA boxing gear. It's something that he brings to the boxing ring. Perfect 12-0 record in the professional ranks. Perfect on the IBA Pro stage as well. Accomplished pressure boxer, so much skill in his armory.
Дамы и
Down
господа,
to the body.
для боксеров звучат национальные гимны. И первым гимн Австралии. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 national anthems for the fighters, and first national anthem of Australia. Дамы и господа, звучит государственный гимн Российской Федерации. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the Russian Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. In line, IBA Pro proud to present the main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing for the IBA Pro Intercontinental Light Middleweight Championship. Представляю вам официальных лиц. Генеральный директор IBA Pro Алсеса. Супервайзер IBA Pro Максим Чертыковцев. Супервайзер турнира Сергей Хурсанов. Трое судей у ринга оценивают главное событие. Three judges at ringside scoring this main event. Ираклий Малазони, Сергей Людунов и Сергей Журкин. Ваш судья хронометрист таймкипер Татьяна Хурсанова. И с ударом гонга рефери в ринге, and well, the bell rings, your referee in charge, Дмитрий Полдырев. Итак, дамы и господа на трибунах, миллионы фанатов бокса во всем мире в прямом эфире с КСК Арены. Главный бой вечера турнира Финлайн IBA Pro. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and the millions boxing fans around the world, live from KSK Arena, Winline IBA Pro main bout of the evening. Представляю вам соперников. И первым претендентом в черном углу ринга, в черных трусах с золотом. Introducing to first fighting out of the black corner, wearing black with gold, the challenger. Ему 32 года, рост 176 сантиметров, вес 69,9 килограмма. Профессиональный рекорд 12 побед, включая 6 побед нокаутом при 2 поражениях. Ladies and gentlemen, he's 32 years old, standing 176 centimeters tall, weighing in at 69.9 kilograms. His professional record 12 victories, including 6 big wins coming by 1 knockout with 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, here is Victor Halachini Nagbe. А вот и его соперник в золотом углу ринга, в белых трусах с серебром. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the gold corner wearing white with silver, the champion. Ему 29 лет, рост 180 сантиметров, вес 69,9 килограмма. Профессиональный рекорд прекрасен. 12 побед без единого поражения, включая 6 побед нокаутом. Ladies and gentlemen, he's 29 years old. He stands 180 centimeters tall, weighing in 69.9 kilograms. His perfect professional record, 12 victories, no losses, 6 big wins coming by way of knockout. Дамы и господа, он чемпион WBA Gold, чемпион WBA Азия, чемпион Европы IBA, чемпион России и действующий чемпион IBA Pro Intercontinental в первом среднем весе. Ladies and gentlemen, he's IBA Gold Champion, IBA Asia Champion, European IBA Champion, Russian National Champion, and the reigning, defending, undefeated IBA Pro Intercontinental Light Middleweight Champion, Pavel SOSULIN, Санкт-Петербург, Россия.
So referee Mr. Dmitry Poldrayev, both men together for the final
Follow the
instructions.
rules, protect yourself all the time, touch gloves.
A quick look at the tail of the tape. Both men weighing in bang on the 69.9 kilogram, 154-pound light middleweight limit as Pavel SOSULIN prepares to defend his IBA Intercontinental title. So we're underway then. This light middleweight contest, super welterweight contest scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds. between the champion, Pavel SOSULIN, defending his IBA Intercontinental title. He's ranked #1 in the world by the WBA in the loaded 154-pound light middleweight division. He with a perfect record of 12 fights, 12 wins, 6 of them coming inside the distance. The southpaw boxer, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold, is the challenger for Pavel SOSULIN's IBA Intercontinental strap. And that is Victor Nagbe of Australia. 14 fights in his professional career, 12 wins, 6 of them inside the distance, 2 losses. Coming in off a loss in December, in December, down in Thailand, fighting in Russia for the first time, but no stranger to fighting outside of his homeland of Australia, having competed in Thailand on 4 separate occasions. Come from a kickboxing background as a southpaw. Spoke about some of the challenges he faced as a young athlete trying to make his way in combat sports. So that has instilled a resilience and a hunger in him, which will be crucial to inflicting the first L on SOSULIN's ledger tonight. There he scores with a good southpaw left hand. SOSULIN, no stranger to competing on IBA professional stages. Always impressed with his posed punch picking, the incessant pressure that he can apply when he senses that he's got his man going. He's ringside to commentate on many of his bouts over the years on IBA Pro stages. Performance in Yerevan in January of last year when he took the O of Carlo Baccaro was absolutely sensational. 3rd round stoppage in a contest scheduled for 10. So commentated on his 9th round stoppage against Lucas Brian Ariel Bastida. Came in April of last year. July of last year, he went in against the former world title challenger Nagbe Kurbanov. Despite having less experience, eked out a split decision win in what was an eliminator for the WBA world title, solidifying his status as the sanctioning body's #1. First round in the book here at the KSK Arena. Main event of the evening.
Его надо чуть, не давай ему засадить, режь его, пусть он прямой отступает, понятно, да? Прямо отрезаем ему ножку и плотнее, он не знает, ты начинаешь подходить и даешь ему играть, а ты его заставишь все время двигаться назад, и он будет твой, понятно, да? И за ногу, не давай ему вот кружиться.
Round 2.
Timing. Box.
So we move into the 2nd round. Looking at southpaw right jab effectively and dropping down with a left cross to the body is Nagbe. Again, not that he's been disrespectful, but he's shown no respect for the accomplishment or the undefeated record of SOSULIN, and he's going about his work very effectively indeed, circling counterclockwise to his right, away from the potent backhand of SOSULIN, and he, perhaps a more active boxer with his straight punches. The lead right jab and the left cross to the body. There's SOSULIN, as I say that, picks up the activity of his lead left hand. Coming from a kickboxing background, so many the sweet science of the noble art of boxing have started their careers as kickboxers. George Groves, Vitaly Klitschko, Dillian White, whole host of boxers got their combat careers underway in a sport where the legs can be used as well. Who scored a notable victory in the amateurs over Vitaly Klitschko. L.A. Reid also came from a kickboxing background. The Winterbank Gym in Sheffield, 6 inches tall, the man from Birmingham. Used to wear green and yellow tassels of his boxing equipment as a cracking right hand gets through from SOSULIN. Nagbe responds with a thrusting right jab of his own before bringing the right jab into play once again, scoring to the body, and then a double right jab from Nagbe. Sometimes kickboxers have a laid-back approach, quite literally. Often on the back foot and lean back when they switch to the sport of boxing. Nagbe not demonstrating that trait so closely associated with former kickboxers here. Moving almost exclusively counterclockwise to his right, but he is the busier boxer, leading off with that lead right jab. Made SOSULIN miss with an attempted backhand there, but then the overhand right altogether closer. Good variety shown by Nagbe as he scores effectively to the body, and a piercing left cross between the glove defenses of SOSULIN. Very impressive, particularly in this second round, Victor Nagbe. Boxed at a brisk pace, has moved smartly and has tried to present angles to Pavel SOSULIN while finding a home for his own range-finding right jab. Very good round of boxing indeed.
You're being too lazy with your jab. You gotta be right, mate. You gotta snap in with the jab. Hard jab to the body. Don't be lazy with your jab on. And bro, when you shoot the left there, see everything you've done it, you caught him. I want you to shoot them all. Set up, jab, 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 bang, shoot around the corner. And back to the body. That was a good body shot you hit. Start working the body, Victor.
Third round, round 3.
So we move into the third round. Pavel SOSULIN defending his IBA Intercontinental title. Again, his corner told him to put a little more pop on his right jab. Victor Nagbe boxing beautifully to instruction because he was really getting some back foot into that right jab now, pushing off that southpaw left leg. SOSULIN just trying to keep his leg on the outside. Beautiful left cross thrusted in downstairs from Nagbe, and then showing variety, turning punches underneath, spinning off the line, adopting the half-cover guard here now, tucking his chin behind his open-palmed left glove is Nagbe. Nice left jab from SOSULIN, who's trying to get onto the front foot and back Nagbe towards the outer reaches of the roped arena. Nagbe readjusting himself and getting himself back to this space of ring center. Even though he's moving exclusively to his right, the right hand comes over the top from SOSULIN, countered by a two-shot combo from Nagbe. Nagbe being the 10-round distance, so it holds no fears for him. 10-round distance on 5 occasions, Victor Nagbe. So the question is, will he be able to maintain this type of up-tempo boxing as SOSULIN gets close, lands a left hook to the body. Nagbe with his back touching the ropes, moves off by moving counterclockwise to his right. With SOSULIN still seeking to smother him, create some room by pushing him off, but that of course is illegal, and SOSULIN got Nagbe pinned near his own black corner. Nagbe calmly out of that confined position, but he wasn't able to reply when scored upon by SOSULIN on that occasion. Good left hook to the body once again from SOSULIN. Nagbe again seeking to cover guard. Nice jab to the body from Nagbe. SOSULIN coming in behind his own left jab with a right hand over the top. Nagbe not quite finding the range on that right jab, but it was keeping SOSULIN occupied. He was able to back him up to center ring, but then in the space of center ring, SOSULIN turning underneath a clever little nudging right uppercut. SOSULIN getting back into the mix. He's fed another right jab. SOSULIN goes in search of the right hand over the top. But a good response from SOSULIN. The Nagbe enjoyed a very good second round. SOSULIN coming out and responding as you would expect the reigning champion to respond in this battle for this IBA Intercontinental crown.
И еще, ну не давай ему кружиться, не давай ему кружиться. Насыпай удары прямо.
Here's an example of accurate punch picking that SOSULIN was able to uncoil during the course of that second round. This is where he had Nagbe in the corner, was able to score without reply. Nagbe started the round in active fashion. SOSULIN responding effectively. End the round. Impressive.
It's a third round, round 4.
So we're moving to round number 4 then. The fact that sports palace in Ufa, a contest on an IBA Champions Night stage. Ulugh Sabirov and Pavel SOSULIN doesn't show up on Sabirov's record. Well, it doesn't show up on SOSULIN's record either. It most certainly happened, but again, in IBA Pro Boxing, it doesn't necessarily have to appear on one's ledger. So Nagbe, not quite moving backwards, but using more of the space of the ring now, looking to maintain a gap between himself and SOSULIN, who was just creeping forwards incrementally on flat feet. Nagbe enjoyed a terrific second round where he was able to move almost exclusively counterclockwise to his right and score with straight punches, jabs to both head and body, occasional left crosses, but SOSULIN just picking up the pace now, quickening his bid to walk down Nagbe. Nagbe doing a good job holding his feet, but then takes a good left hook to the body. Now Nagbe's complaining that that is low, and that will be encouraging to SOSULIN because it may well have been, but that's why the referee is there to be the arbiter as to whether a blow is fair or foul, and he needs no help from Dmitry Boldriev in that regard. There's that a little tell that will encourage SOSULIN to explore the body once more. Nice right jab, left cross through the middle from Nagbe, but SOSULIN remaining incessant in his pursuit. Nice raiding attack from Nagbe. Right jab, left cross downstairs, staying in range, looking for straight punch successes of his own and finding a home for them. And now the two men toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder on the inside. So Nagbe using less space of the boxing ring through this passage of the round. He's varied his work nicely. There's a nice roundhouse right hook out of the southpaw stance from Nagbe beneath SOSULIN's left elbow. But then SOSULIN putting together a cluster of punches where he really sat down on his shots and his exertions were audible. There's a authoritative left jab twice in quick succession. Nagbe responds with a left cross to the sternum of his own, and that right cross from SOSULIN just catching Nagbe. Beautiful left hook is a short shot from SOSULIN right on the point of Nagbe's chin, and then another left comes crashing through, and this is the difficult passage of the round for Nagbe. As I say that, he's recovering, he's keeping his shape nicely. There he lands a left hand of his own out of the southpaw stance and showing real competitive spirit by answering back, but I think getting the better of the final minute of this round has been SOSULIN. He ends the round in the half cover guard, but terrific two-way action through round number 4.
You're gonna show me something. Can't just sit and taking those shots, bro. You're gonna show me something, alright? Bro, you're just waiting, bro. You're letting him tee off from you, bro. But I tell you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, he's all good.
What?
Yeah, we're all good. Yeah. Bro, you're gonna stop the fight, yeah? You're gonna show me something, bro. You two were sharp, but you're gonna come
Well,
back
it was
with
a
two
terrific conclusion to the round from Pavel SOSULin. Really did begin to find a home for his punches.
Get your breath back. Dance behind the ref. Get your breath back. Breathe.
Exertions were audible as he sat down on the shot and punctuated them with utterances of breathing from the diaphragm and really letting those shots rip to both head and body. Now, Victor Nagbe's corner instructed him in the interval between rounds 4 and 5 that he has got to show them something, because that was a really strong conclusion to the round for Pavel SOSULin. He's such a patience operator, showing experience beyond his years, Pavel SOSULin, because there's never any panic, and he sometimes uses rounds as a reconnaissance mission, and that is good work to the body from Nagbe. And then a southpaw left through the middle as he works the body once again, then an uppercut through the middle, but he was clipped by a hook that almost stopped him in his tracks. Wonderful accuracy once again from SOSULin, and then he comes with a right hand over the top of the low-held southpaw left of Nagbe, who's trying to back SOSULin up, and credit to him, but that could well be hastening his own downfall if he brings that type of heat to Pavel SOSULin. And again, he's demonstrated a rock-solid chin as he's working away with hooks to the body. Just threatened to double over Nagbe a little bit, but Nagbe, to his credit, carrying out his corner's instructions once again. But in terms of showing him something, I'm not sure that standing and trading with SOSULin is what the corner was seeking. Because again, in perhaps his best round of the contest, he did a wonderful job of sticking and moving. But of course, that's a very difficult endeavor to continue when you're being pursued by an operator as efficient and clinical as Pavel SOSULin, and you're taking the longer route around the boxing ring. But a spirited response in the first half of this 5th round from Victor Nagbe. Will he be able to maintain it for the second half when you consider that SOSULin finished round number 4 in really strong fashion? But Nagbe takes a clipping left hook on the inside, but he's looking to back SOSULin up once again. SOSULin landing with a bombing overhand right while his back was against the ropes. Right hand from SOSULin catches Nagbe. He was looking for his own southpaw right, and then once again in the second half of the round, it is SOSULin who puts a cluster together that just caused Nagbe to dip at the knees. This could well be a long final 40 seconds of round number 5 if SOSULin continues to seek to go about his man in a fashion that he demonstrated just a few moments ago, and almost right on cue he scores with a right uppercut and left hook. Credit to Nagbe, because this is a really spirited title challenge, but you get the sense that he perhaps flooring it, redlining it, and SOSULin is comfortably in second gear. But Nagbe hanging tough and competing, and for that he deserves immense credit, because SOSULin knows that he's in a fight here. And a wonderful response from Victor Nagbe, whose corner implored him to show him something. A really strong conclusion was produced to the 4th round by Pavel SOSULin. Some of the action from round number 5. Nagbe really did have success after his corner thought he'd be no uncertain terms that he wanted to show him something. Overhand left just disrupting the boxing stance of SOSULin, but then look at the accuracy out of the corner with that high elbow, overhand right.
Round 6.
In many respects, a Soviet type of shot, epitomized by Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol on occasion. And the light heavyweight maestro elects to hold his feet. So Nagbe back upon his bike, circumnavigating the boxing ring in a bid to stick and move once again, but just stalking him in flat-footed fashion. In predatory mode is Pavel SOSULIN. Nice right hand sneak between the defenses of Nagbe. Nagbe going in search of body and head, didn't quite get through. Still the punches landing with a resounding thud on the defenses of Nagbe. There's a left jab that comes in without reply. Nagbe in search of his own get back, and that's a sumptuous body shot sunk beneath the elbow of Nagbe from SOSULIN. That brings the hands down. And the right side of Nagbe's jaw, despite him trying to adopt the half cover guard, could well be an open target here for a puncher as accurate as SOSULIN. Teeing off to both body and head once again, and Nagbe, his movement reducing and slowing by the second. Gamely gets himself out of the corner and gets his wits back about him and has his own offensive success. And SOSULIN's home fans here at the KSK Arena in St. Petersburg dialing up the decibel level. Body and head being worked over unmercifully by SOSULIN. Nagbe bites down and fires back once again. Left cross through the guard of SOSULIN is an effective shot. And Nagbe doing really well to keep himself in these exchanges. My commentary position, I'm left with the impression that it's SOSULIN who is getting the better of the exchanges, as punctuated during that exchange with a thunderous left hook that snapped the head of Nagbe backwards. But gamely he bites down and fires back once again. That left hand threatening to stray low from Nagbe. No complaints from SOSULIN, who's remaining tucked up behind high-held gloves and forearms. Nagbe seeking to push the man back. SOSULIN pushes him off with a left hand. Oh, there's a left hand to the body once again. An uppercut being ripped through the middle and hooks around the corner. And that was a beautiful volley of punches from Pavel SOSULIN that drove Nagbe backwards. And he's still got 26 seconds to make it back to the sanctuary of his black corner. SOSULIN, who's such a clinical finisher when he senses that he has his man going. Really picking up his pace here now, but Nagbe able to throw out two punches, but look at the manner in which he's having difficulty holding his boxing stance. He's been broken down to the body. That has really affected his movement, and SOSULIN can sense it, grinning that gum shield contemptuously, because now Victor Nagbe and his team are going to have to work on him furiously and hope that the 60-second interval is long enough for the energy levels of Victor Nagbe to return to something approaching optimal. He's listening. Well, the corner man, perhaps hear him saying he's not going to let Nagbe take too much more of this, because once again, in the final minute of the round, SOSULIN went through the gears and got real leverage onto his shots, not loading up, but look at that howitzer of a left hook, and then uppercuts ripping through the middle, dropping that back down to the body, and thereafter Nagbe had a really difficult time moving his feet in coordinated fashion. He gamely re-enters the fray for the 7th round of a contest that is scheduled for 10. And after being put under pressure in round number 4, he responded very well indeed in round 5, did Victor Nagbe, only for SOSULIN to go through the gears again in round number 6 and then clock his man with a left hook. And now there's a swagger about the work of SOSULIN, pursuing his man, not quite with contempt, but with the certitude of a man who knows that he's going to catch up to his opponent, and when he does, this fight is going to be over inside the distance. And that's got to be very dispiriting for Nagbe, who is up on his toes. He's trying to maintain the gap, but I think he finds himself in that really invidious position in a boxing ring of being able to either move or throw, but he can't do both at the same time, so not able to stick and move. And so while he's maintaining a gap, he may be flicking out some don't hit me punches, as boxing impresario Mickey Duff used to call them. But there's no real purpose or authority behind them as SOSULIN goes in search of the body with a right cross. And again, Nagbe able to maintain a gap, but still he's found by the rapier-like left jab of SOSULIN. Nagbe seems to fashion a clinch on the inside. SOSULIN hitting on the command of stop from the referee, and he was really keen to step back into the breach and go in search of his man once again. There's really nothing on Nagbe's punches now, and he's hit with a left hook to the jaw and a right hand to the body. Right hand over the top, then followed up by SOSULIN. Speculative southpaw left swung over the top from Nagbe. But again, all of the pop has dissipated from the punches of Nagbe, and that's because his legs may have been taken away by the withering body punches that were unfurled by SOSULIN. He's gamely flicking out a right jab, but then a left comes over the top of it from SOSULIN, who is trying to cut his man off. Nagbe moves right, SOSULIN cuts him off left, and vice versa. Oh, that's another good left hand sunk into the body from SOSULIN in response to the body attack launched by Nagbe. Another left hand catches Nagbe flush. He cannons into the ropes only to catapult off them, and then fashions a clinch in a bid to gain some respite. Right hand over the top from Nagbe, from SOSULIN. And again, Nagbe is really finding it difficult to move up there in the space of the boxing ring. It's almost as though he is wading through wet concrete, enduring a very difficult mission as another right hand completely disrupts his boxing stance. There's two left hands in quick succession. The first was really forceful, and tossing his head towards the ring lights in celebratory fashion is Pavel SOSULIN, because he must know that the finish line is in sight here if he continues to box with this type of intensity. And I wouldn't be surprised if Nagbe's corner don't let him come out for the next round, because that was a dominant 3 minutes produced by Pavel SOSULIN. Can't fault the competitive spirit or the desire of Victor Nagbe, but he's being outgunned and outboxed in just about every department here in round 6 and 7. The man said that he wanted him to show him something in the interval between round 6 and 7, and to his credit, Nagbe did bite down and fight back spiritedly.
Round 8.
But it wasn't enough to get him a share of the round, and as we move into the 8th, Pavel SOSULIN slowly continuing to turn the thumb screws as he sets about his man, while the sound of the bell is still reverberating around the KSK Arena. Good left jab again causes Nagbe to slide across the ropes. Nagbe in a really difficult position here now, because it's almost as though he's trying to maintain the gap between himself and SOSULIN, and that's all he can hope to do. His punches completely devoid of pop. I won't say they're devoid of purpose, but the power that he was exhibiting in the early stages and the precision, those qualities have long since left his punch output, particularly over the course of round 6 and 7. Glancing left hook across the abdomen, scored by SOSULIN. And again, you have to admire and commend the courage, conditioning, and the commitment being exhibited by Victor Nagbe. Again, claims his man in a bid to just try and gain a little bit of respite in the boxing ring. But on the resumption, he's on his bike once again. And this isn't because of a lack of courage, as a reverse 1-2, right hand, left hand snaps the head back of Nagbe, and a cracking left hook dips the knees of Victor Nagbe, and he wraps his man up, blankets him in the space of center ring, just to try and hold on. But he's being worked over unmercifully to both head and body here. And SOSULIN now showing head movement as he jitterbugs his way forward. Nagbe continuing to let clusters of punches go, but again, they are not enough to get the respect of SOSULIN, and he is content to walk right through them. In the previous 2 rounds, he has really got on top in the final 40 seconds or so. Now I wonder, will SOSULIN really begin to open up earlier in a frame in a bid to take Nagbe out of there inside the distance? Nagbe is desperate to avoid an inside the distance defeat. His 2 defeats so far come when losing majority and split decisions over the 10-round distance. A good defense with the gloves from Nagbe to fend off that incoming right hand. And again, as the 10-second clapper sounds, SOSULIN looking to pick up the pace once more. Power driving left jab, snaps the head by the back of Nagbe, followed by a roundhouse right. My goodness, Nagbe is one tough hombre indeed. But it's been practically one-way traffic for the last 3 rounds, but he is still in there competing. Let's listen to his corner. Well, I think that's it. Because he asked Victor Nagbe, have you got anything left? And Nagbe said, I don't know. And so compassionate corner work demonstrated by the team of Victor Nagbe. They gave their boxer every opportunity. And he has been retired on his stool in the interval between rounds 8 and 9. He really did put forth a spirited effort. His boxing in the second round, where he was sticking and moving delightfully while moving counterclockwise to his right. But SOSULIN never panicked, kept his composure, downloaded all of the information that was being presented during those successes by Victor Nagbe, and then just began to get on top with his educated pressure. Credit to Victor Nagbe, because after he was put under pressure by a strong conclusion to the round by Pavel SOSULIN in round 4, his corner read the riot act and said, listen, you've got to show me something. And Nagbe came out and responded in the 5th round. I don't think he responded well enough to take the round, but he showcased the type of spirited effort that characterized his performance throughout this bid for Pavel SOSULIN's IBA Intercontinental crown. So Pavel SOSULIN makes it another successful title defense and extends his perfect record. Another inside the distance victory. What was a really composed and disciplined display by the WBA's #1 ranked boxer at 154 pounds. This a defense of his IBA Intercontinental crown. Of course, the WBA, the junior middleweight division, so loaded with talent. There is Mr. Al Fiesta, who will present the IBA Intercontinental belt back to the man who came into the ring with it.
Дамы и господа, по завершении 8-го раунда в связи с отказом угла соперника от продолжения боя в 9-м раунде техническим нокаутом одержал победу и остается не знающим поражений чемпионом IBA Pro Intercontinental в первом среднем весе. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the round number 8, in round number 9, your winner by technical knockout and the still undefeated IBA Pro Intercontinental light middleweight champion, Pavel SOSULIN!
So Pavel SOSULIN extends his perfect record, forcing a retirement from Victor Nagbe's corner at the end of the 8th round. Victor Nagbe deserves immense credit for the spirited effort that he has produced over the course of this title bid for Pavel SOSULIN's IBA Intercontinental crown.
Ты сохранил чемпионский пояс.
Subjected to his third defeat
Весь Питер, вся
in
страна,
15
весь мир
contests in the
поздравляют
professional
Павла
ring,
Сосулина.
back-to-back
Тебе
defeats
слово.
endured by Victor Nagbe. Now
всем
this,
привет.
the first inside the distance. Let's listen to the man who is still
в
the
первую очередь
IBA
хочется сказать, что
Intercontinental
я
champion.
рад, что я защитил пояс, хотя я его сегодня просто дома забыл, не взял с собой. Еще хочется сказать всем, кто сегодня пришел вживую посмотреть на эти бои, я надеюсь, вы довольны. Я очень рад снова выступать в родном Санкт-Петербурге, на родной публике. Мне прям отрадно наблюдать, что очень много друзей, людей, которым мой бокс не безразличен, пришли поддержать. Я вас слышал на протяжении всего боя. Спасибо вам отдельное. Похлопайте себе. Огромная благодарность Спортивной Федерации бокса Санкт-Петербурга, Жукову Максиму Владимировичу, Кулачеву Максиму Сергеевичу за организацию данного мероприятия. Конечно же, Умару Назаровичу Кремлеву тоже большое спасибо за возможность принимать участие, защищать и драться за пояса. Спасибо.